Hey everyone, it's Kelly with Brave Parenting. Every parent faces the question of when do I get my child a smartphone? And we at Brave Parenting don't feel like there is one specific age where your child is always going to be ready for a phone. It's very individual based and maturity based. However, we do feel strongly that there are 5 standards that can help every child with their first smartphone develop character and healthy habits as they begin having their own personal phone on them. So let's dive into this today. Standard number 1 is don't carry the phone everywhere. If you look around at children today, they are carrying their phone in their hands. It's not even in their back pocket, right? If it doesn't have to be. And this carrying it in the hand always makes it that much more accessible, that much more distracting, which is why they're spending so much time on the device. As your child begins using a smartphone, let there be one place in the home that phone is always stored when it's not being used. If it's on their physical body, they're going to want to use it all the time, establishing this habit of constant use. If you got it because you want to be able to contact them when they're not with you, then when they're not with you, they don't need to carry the phone. So set this standard right from the beginning. The second standard is to utilize the cellular service provider limits. So whether you're using AT&T, T-Mobile, Sprint, whichever you're using, a lot of them provide these parental controls for a small monthly fee, and they're fantastic. You can set texting quantity limits, you can set school time restrictions where you can block incoming, outgoing text messages, or nighttime restrictions where they're not going to be able to access data. This is fantastic, and every parent needs to be using these right from the beginning. But rest assured, you can also create a whitelist of people, such as mom and dad, who can access that child no matter what restriction is in place. The third standard is that parents know every password. This isn't about privacy. If you're giving your child, a 10-year-old child or 12-year-old child, a smartphone, you need to know what's going on in that phone. And that starts with the screen lock. Don't allow your child to create a screen lock password that blocks you from getting into the phone at all. If that happens, that phone is then yours, right? Make sure that they're sharing and you're helping create any account password with them. That way you know exactly what they're getting access to and what kind of content there will be. The fourth standard is to make the phone less smart. If you're giving them a smartphone, and it doesn't have to be a brand new smartphone, right? But any smartphone, we can delete all of these smart features that will so easily distract them. You don't necessarily have to have the camera or the internet or all the games and all those features to start using that phone. When they begin using it, again, chances are you're using it to communicate with them. So delete all of these smart features so that they're not distracting and they're not developing these habits of constantly opening an app to look for something new, look for something novel. That's what makes the phone so addicting. So take off these smart apps and features, making the phone dumb. And of course, you could always use a quote dumb phone, as they call it, but if you have an old iPhone, this is a great way to get them started. And that leads us right into standard number 5, and that is for all children to use Apple's iPhone. I understand that Androids are often cheaper. However, the iPhone, number 1, is what they want, and 2, it offers far better parental controls than an Android, which are meant to be very open and manipulatable. So if you're going to start your child on a phone, start them with an iPhone. And let me be very clear. Your child does not need an iPhone, an 8 or an iPhone X or the brand new latest and greatest phone. You know what still exists? iPhone 5, and they work really fantastic for your kid. They don't need the smart features and they don't need the brand new phones because chances are they're going to break it. So use Apple's iPhone, and these parental controls are standard no matter what Apple device. Even if you're using an iPad or an iPod Touch, these standards are the same. Another way that you can help build character other than these standards is through our book, Managing Media, Creating Character. We go through these standards plus so much more that you can help build up in your children as they grow up, using the technology that they love, but that you might be concerned about. So this book isn't about overparenting or hovering or creating a whole bunch of rules, but establishing healthy standards for your children to grow up in and thrive with this technology. You can get that at Amazon.com. My name is Kelly. This is Brave Parenting. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, go and be brave. And since you're watching us on YouTube, please go ahead and subscribe to our channel.